best appeal to a desperate man is madness. Therefore, it's madness to believe that you can fix an imperfect world. Merry Christmas, everybody. Repair. Today's episode, I'm not so great with numbers. Math was always my weakest subject. And that's also kind of led to why I think I developed some of my repair skills in life, but I'm not a good repairman. I'll be the first to tell you. I'd say it's one of the most OP and broken skills in Fallout New Vegas specifically. Even if you don't want to go for like the full like jury rigging perk, which just completely like trivializes the game and validates any of the legendary weapons. If you don't go that route, you're just gonna go broke paying for repairs. I hope you never paid for a repair at the CIU or CIU Central. Yeah, the CIU in Old World Blues there. Don't be that guy. You got to max out that repair every character. But in real life, I was never that interested in any kind of, what do you call it? Like, I don't want to make it sound bad. When I was a teenager and I was starting to like actually like, have some consciousness, have some thoughts of my own, I was super obsessed with Fallout. I think Fallout it didn't predate consciousness for me. Well, at least Fallout 1 did by technicality. But, like, I guess I had already kind of gotten it in my head, like, oh, I like this stuff, and Fallout had gotten me into science, and I'm not saying that you learn a lot of practical science skills when you play Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, but especially with Old World Blues, like, I knew it was science fiction, I knew it was hilarious, or it was meant to be, funny, and I was also watching the Venture Brothers at the time. So, like, I understood that there was, like, a hard line between, science and science fiction, but it's the science fiction that got me into science. This isn't the science video, but, I was raised to be a lot more rough and tumble than like a twink scientist that I wanted to be. I'm just kidding. I was a really fat kid, so definitely wasn't that. I was at least the scientist part of that. I'm sorry if I look like really sweaty, probably a little bit gaunt, maybe a little bit underslept. I don't know. I went and earned myself a stiff neck today, but that fits right into the repair theme actually. My collar's blue and my neck is red. Sorry. So that's not, so you gotta let it rip every once in a while. You gotta let one out. I was gonna say the funnier one, but I guess I won't. I think I started to get an interest for repair skills, and I actually started to build repair skills, because I loved the bookstore. When I started to make money, if I didn't blow it on Warhammer 40K, I like to spend it on books, because I didn't know how to go on, like, Scribd. I didn't know how to go on Archive yet, if that was even a thing. I didn't know how to get books online for free, and if I couldn't find it on the Pirate Bay, I wasn't finding it. So, I'd like to go to Barnes & Noble and I'd spend a ton of money on books. One thing I eventually found, and I don't know why I took it upon myself to do it, but I got like a guide. I can't remember if it was Chilton's or if that's just a name of like another one. I can't remember. I don't have it anymore. I liquidated my book collection a few times just because of necessity. But, it's not something I wanted to do. I don't like getting rid of books, but you got to do it. You got to do it every once in a while, especially if you're a minimalist. Just part of it. But yeah. So I bought this Chevy 350, like a Chevy 350 big block, complete, whatever you want to call it. I can't remember what it's called. A car guy could tell me. It was an interest I used to be into. And I think I started to get a little interest. I think the transition, funny enough, because this is how easily influenced I am by video games. I think games like Mass Effect, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, some of the more science fiction-y elements of like Black Ops 1, the Modern Warfare series. I'm just, Halo, obviously. I'm trying to think of like late 2000, early 2010s influences that really got me in the science. And then, in addition to discovering like electronic music and like all dubstep and everything, I had an image in my mind of what the future was going to look like, and I wanted to help build it as a scientist. That was my dream as a teenager. We could make a whole video on why that didn't pan out, but another time perhaps. But my family was putting a lot of pressure on me to be more rugged, to be more, my grandpa was 6'5". Not my genetic grandfather, but grandfather that raised me. He was 6'5", a skeleton. My uncle was 6'6", and probably as like built fat as you can possibly be at that height, and just had like one long goatee, and that's who taught me how to shoot a gun and put me through a lot of training, a lot of paramilitary type stuff when I was very little. I remember one time he had me build up a snowman and then shoot it. Oh, I cried. I did not want to do that. But I should have put that in the gun video. In any case, so I had all these kind of like tough influences. I don't even want to get into my dad, but essentially like a combination and also a lesser version of the two put together, combined with really bad business sense. In any case, he really kind of encouraged it, and that meant a lot to me at the time. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try to get like an engine, like one from a junkyard, one that doesn't work, one that's gunked up or what have you. I'm gonna like take it apart, and I'm kind of artsy, so I think I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna like use brake cleaner, and I'm gonna clean the whole thing to like a mirror sheen, and then I'm gonna prime it and paint it by color. And I might make it like artsy, or I might do it, and I eventually just spray paint as many like colors as I could collect, like Rust-Oleum cans. And I put that engine back together with like different colors, and it was this sort of like engine that was like, it wasn't a total rainbow. I didn't have all the colors in there, but like I was inspired by like the BMW art car. There's probably been more than one, but I'm referring to the one from Forza Motorsport 4. That was my inspiration, so I used those colors. But really, I liked all the racing teams equally, and I would make things like that. I would paint pistons from cars, and I would do them in the different like color schemes or liveries, I believe they're called, of various like racing teams in the GTLM category, I believe it was called IMSA, at least. I remember IMSA is like the overseeing board. In any case, like my interest, I guess what I'm trying to say is my interest had switched from science fiction role playing games to now Need for Speed, and then I went from Need for Speed Most Wanted, the 2012 one, to Gran Turismo 6, and I got really into like simulator racing and like motorist purism because I was 16 years old. You see interest, you say that's cool, you move on. I've picked up a lot of fixations over the years. That was one of them, and I know like almost nothing about cars anymore. But I would say that you want to build up your repair skill, take apart an engine and put it back together. You're going to learn a lot about tools. You're going to learn a lot of other fun things along the way. You're going to learn some nuances like timing, like timing on an engine and doing all that. And just doing like a full build guide on an engine was a really fulfilling experience for me. And I have no interest in doing that for a living. People are like, you do that for fun. Why do you like have trouble, like working for people? And it's just like, I don't know. I got to be at the wheel, man. I know that sounds really like egoistic. I don't like to push people around. I don't like to have power. I don't like to lord over people. No, I just like freedom. I'm like Monkey D. Luffy in that regard. I'm not trying to be king of the pirates to push people around. I'm trying to be king of the pirates to be free, man. And that's when that show started and stopped resonating with me. But maybe I should continue to watch past episode 600, whatever. I don't know though. Once again, there you go. There's another tangent for you. Also, no, sorry in advance. I lost my tie clip. I don't know where it went. I looked everywhere. Is it under my bed? Not under my bed. So, yeah, we're looking a little bit not great right now. Other ways to build repair, though, is you could get that in any field. I worked as a contractor for a while. I had minimal, not so great carpentry training. I've worked in stone cutting. I'd say almost any of those trades, you're going to learn repair to some degree. You're going to get a passive repair increase, but repair is a really kind of like a bad skill from like a role-playing game angle, because like, repair what? Like, I've done minor plumbing, so I can fix my sink, and I've installed toilets, so I could probably redo my toilet, but I haven't done anything outside of that. And if you bring in any kind of like municipal pipes, I don't know anything about that. I've only ever worked on my own house, my own well. So that's like, I don't know. So does that make me a bad repairman because I don't have full knowledge of plumbing? Same thing with cars. I don't know how to change my brakes. People tell me that's super easy. How come you don't know how to change your brake? I don't know. I can change my oil, but I don't because I don't want to. And I did, like I said, an engine rebuild, but I wouldn't do it to my own engine. I wouldn't take that risk. I would take it to a store, or a shop. I mean, what else repair? I mean, geez, I had a buddy who had a PlayStation 4. We both definitely got some repair points out of that, trying to beat Bloodborne and keep that PlayStation alive. And that was in like 2018. That was a long time ago. Repair. I mean, is mod installation repair? No, that's science. We definitely have to say that's science because that's like a computer thing. But like, is repair a mindset? Is it a mindset of I can fix anything? Because like if a guy can like say he's like a rocket scientist, he builds rockets. He's Werner von Braun. He got Operation Paperclipped over to the United States. Is he repair 100? Is he science 100? I mean, I don't know. I guess that's a bad question because I don't know enough about Werner von Braun. He's probably a math guy, therefore not a repair major. But like, are engineers, is that the split of repair and science? Because the split of guns and repair is gunsmithing, which I got into. And yeah, there's a lot of carryover there. If you can time an engine, it's not terribly different than timing a revolver. And I didn't know about that on revolvers before I started working on them. I didn't realize they were so mechanically complex. And I was like, yeah, why isn't there more revolvers in the world? People are so hard on revolvers because they suck to repair. I'll tell you that. You should never drop a gun. But if I dropped a revolver, I'd be feeling funny about it for a long time, going, oh god, in what way did that affect the timing? But when I was a kid, I had a starter pistol, and the timing was so bad on that, and I didn't know like anything about gunsmithing, obviously, when I was a kid. So like the hammer would just be slamming. You'd have to like click it, like bam, bam. It was like hilarious, like so unsafe if that was a real gun. And I suppose in a way it was because it was a starting pistol, but the barrel was plugged. The powder only escaped out of the cylinder. So here I go, making it into a guns video again. I guess I know more about guns than I do general repair, but I've been living in a house since 2019. Yeah, since more like 2021. It took me a while to get it up to snuff, at least livable. And a lot of things had to happen. I had a water line break underneath, in my front yard, essentially. I guess in my side yard. I didn't know about it for years. I was just slowly draining my well at all times. If I flushed my toilet more than like 4 or 5 times a day, took more than 2 showers, and did more than one load of laundry, mud would be coming out of my faucet. Could not figure out why. Literally found out there's like a tiny spigot in the garage that goes all the way underneath the garage, pops up the other side, and then is like a hose connection over there. Yeah, it broke somewhere in the middle. So if you dig up over there, everything looks fine. You dig up at the house, everything's fine. Well, it breaks in the middle, that's an issue. So like, that's repair skill, is knowing to look for stuff like that. Am I a repair master? No, I'm not a master at any of the skills. If you followed along this far, I'm, man, I feel like I look like shit, I'm sorry. It's these ruffles. I feel like goth Austin Powers, the way these are ruffled up like that. Well, now that we made a joke about it, we can just roll with it. But yeah, I mean, repairing is, you know what? It is a mindset. It's knowing that anything that is built, anything that is artificial is fixable. And even in some cases, some things that are natural are fixable. I mean, if you've ever done, I'd argue more of a medicine science hybrid skill, but if you've ever done like apple tree grafting, if you've ever done any kind of like forced pollination, sounds so dirty. What do you call that? Artificial pollination, manual pollination. I don't know. I've never done it myself, but that is like, okay, here you go. This is like an artifice. This is a skill that might fit within repair, but it involves nature and it doesn't involve computers. That's a weird quirk of Fallout. I mean, but that's also like the skills of the game complement the gameplay more than real life. So I can't fault it for that. I'm making like a shoddy argument. Fallout New Vegas is not Dungeons and Dragons. It doesn't have to have a continuity for everything. It just has to have a continuity for what's in the game. And we can have a repair skill, to reward certain playstyles. So I get that meta perspective. But at the same time, I was thinking about this video and I was like, there should be skill categories and then repair is one of them. But then even then, it's like gun repair is different from home repair. But you can do both, like they're both learnable. More often than not, I find any of the repair skills relies more on using the right tool for the job. Excuse me. Right tool for the job. Hi, I'm Jordan Peterson. It's really important to use the right tool for the job. Okay? Sorry. That's if you like Jordan Peterson, I'm sorry. It's popular to gang beat him now, so my fault. I always like doing that though. Someone brings it up and I just start doing like Mickey Mouse voice and call it Jordan Peterson. Might be. I'm not. I don't even care anymore. Like I said, you know that from my politics video. So, where was I? If you want to learn how to fix things, know what you want to fix. If you built your own PC, that's repair. I refuse to believe it isn't. If that's repair science, that's fine. Build things, make things, fix things. Repair innately means that you fix things. You don't necessarily build them. Because you don't necessarily build anything in Fallout New Vegas, other than communities, I guess, or factions. You more so bolster populations than you do physical locations. Unlike Fallout 76 and Fallout 4, where you do physically. Yeah, we're making a weird argument there. Repair would have been a completely OP skill in Fallout 4. Should it have had skills? That might have been the reason. I'm just making this up. I have no information to support this. If they scrapped skills for Fallout 4 for a reason other than, bringing more normies into the Fallout fold, then it was probably like, what do we do? Like, how do we balance this? And how do we keep everybody from just speccing into Repair 100? Like, Because you want to reward playstyles that will ignore skills. I mean, every playstyle on some level should be rewarded. Daggerfall doesn't believe that, and that's fine. Daggerfall gets a pass. Because there's not a game more free than Daggerfall, but in that freedom, it's a little bit boring too. But we're rambling on. I want to think of more real life examples of like things that you can fix. I explained in my lockpicking video how there's more than one way to skin a cat when it comes to cracking a safe. You could try to grind your lockpick skill and crack that safe because it's an old one and you know you can do it, or it might just be a better use of time to contact the previous owner. With repairing, I think we've kind of hit a point in today's society, and this is intentional, where it's easier to replace than repair. So it's very cool to be able to repair things that aren't meant to be repaired, but sometimes it's still not worth it. Sometimes it's still legitimately not worth it. Like, I got a mini solar panel, it's about that big. It automatically opens the door for my chickens in the morning. It stopped working. I couldn't figure out what to do with it, and it was like, well, do I get a new solar panel? Because that's probably what happened. It probably got too wet. The connection probably got some water in it, probably shorted it. I don't know. I'm not an electrician. Therefore, I'm not a Repair 100, I guess. I don't know a ton about electricity other than, shut everything off before you work on it. And even then, I've worked on electricity. Like, I put an outlet in. I'm not an electrician. I've charged the battery on my car. So I don't know. Call me a Repair 30. I'd take it. I'd take a Repair 30. I can fix one out of 3 times when I need something fixed. I can usually make it happen in a way that doesn't look awful. I mean, I'm looking right over. Well, it's not there anymore. I moved it actually, but like I wanted to make a painting, and it's a bad painting. It's like Pollock level, but I wanted to make it. Just that was my whim of the day, and I'm like, it needs a frame, and I went and built a frame, and I was like, I never used a miter saw, but I have one. All right, let's figure it out. I think that's like a repair mindset. Just go in, investigate, see what you can do, make it happen. I mean, the sound effect when you repair a weapon in New Vegas isn't for nothing, where it's just duct tape being pulled out. You'd be surprised how much you can craft with duct tape. I mean, don't get me wrong, I got a nail going through the pommel of each of those. It's a more serious spear than just duct tape, but I think the duct tape would hold it. I totally get where you're coming from if you think I'm running out of juice. I know there's always more. There's always, I guess repair is a skill I don't believe you can hit 100. If that's like a final thought I'd want to finish on for repair. Can you ever get repair to 100? Because there is not a man that can fix everything. And I believe that not every situation is fixable. As well as there's always a better way to fix something. I mean, not always, but like sometimes there's an ideal way to fix something. But consider any kind of home repair. Do people ever do it like exactly the way you'd hope? Or do you find some kind of nightmare in the walls almost every time? So it's just like, there's always something more to do with repair. Even if you're like a master repairman, there's still going to be things that get you, still things that you just don't totally know how to fix. But I want to end on like a cool encouraging note. Like, how's something you could like learn how to repair today? Literally, don't be one of those guys that doesn't read manuals. Like, you don't have to study the manual of everything. You don't have to get a video game and read 60 pages of something if they're still including that as a download. You don't have to like read everything. I guess what I'm saying is like, if you get something that you need to build, I mean, it would be cool if you could just wing it and then you build it and it comes out perfectly right. I've never met a person who can do it. Only boomers attempt it. I only ever see boomers attempting that, and then they do it wrong, and then they get upset, and then they don't know how to do it right, and they go, oh damn it, I'm gonna have to take this whole thing apart. Yeah, I mean, and if you followed the instructions, you would know how it goes together and therefore have a better understanding of how to repair it. So I mean, like all the skills, repairing is knowing. Like it's knowing the skill is knowing the skill. You got to not only know what you're supposed to do, but the subject matter itself. And my opinion with anything is that you will like repairing things if you get some kind of charge out of that. If you see constant repairs, if you see maintenance as like, I don't know, say you live like a more disposable lifestyle. Say you live like more of like, I don't have time for this. I live clean. I don't have time to roll my sleeves up, get my hands dirty, put on work clothes, and make this happen for a day. I have the money. I don't have the time. I'm paying people. That's fine. That's fine. I think repair is something that comes kind of more from necessity. And that is true because it's not necessarily crafting. It's repairing. And I have mentioned in the past with some of my skills in this series of videos, I mean, like, my personal thought is that guns are kind of on the way out. I like them. Don't get me wrong. I like guns. I don't want them to go away. But I think they're on their way out. an inevitability I see going forward. Um, and same thing with like barter. I think barter is kind of overpowered, but I think, like I said, guns are going by the wayside. Repair, middling. I couldn't really say that. It could be, if you want to live the way I live, you want to live out by yourself, you want to live away from everybody, get comfortable with it. Be ready to do it. If you're not good at it, be ready to fix things. I've had like, oh my God, one time I had a branch blow into my window, broke the window. It's like, it's a blizzard. We're gonna have to go out. We're gonna have to board that up. And thankfully, I had a screw gun, or I had a drill. I was able to just get right out there, and I'm out there in the wind. Do that. Oh, another one. My house was flooding one time. House didn't have great drainage for a while. Big hill that way. Had like literally a monsoon come in. We just have years of that sometimes in upstate New York, and getting ready for bed, and there's an inch of water in my bedroom. Only my bedroom. If I could show you, I could show you the layout of it. It's a mess in here. I'm not going to put you through that. But essentially, like, you have to step down into the bedroom with how it's built, and inch of water in the bedroom. And it was like, I got work tomorrow. It's 11:20 at night. Like, I'm kind of loaded right now. I don't want to do this, but I got out there with a pickaxe and I started digging drainage. I dug a ditch, like an actual bona fide ditch around my house, and I stayed out there till like 3 in the morning. Literally got in, called my boss, not giving a shit, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not coming in. Nope. It works for 3 hours from now, I'm not coming in. Nope, house is flooded. Bye. And, I'm not saying you should do that. I've been all over the place employment-wise. I always get the job, but unfortunately never able to keep it. And that's of my own accord. I don't get fired. I can't handle it. But, yeah. So repair is seeing a problem, pinning it down, knowing what to do, biting the bullet. I don't know how to improve that other than to go through hardship. And I don't want you to go through hardship. I'm not suggesting that. I'm not one of those like Spartanist type people that's like, suffering is virtue. It's just like, I don't want to hear that. Anybody promoting suffering, look, if you're promoting self-improvement, great. And that's like motivational and that helps you cope. Like, I'm not fighting against that. I'm not saying don't work out, be lazy, turn into a slug. I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying, like, I don't support like institutionalized suffering because of a supposed like benefit. I don't know, soul for God type stuff from Fear and Hunger. I don't like it. If I could abolish suffering in all forms, I would. And I'd like to become a god just so I can do that. Just no, pain is gone. I don't care what boons it grants. Pain is gone. I don't want pain. I want it gone. I guess that's my defining aspect. I didn't mean to drop like sort of like my most deep goal on you on a repair video, but I guess repairing is about fixing the problems you see. And how do you fix pain? Even drugs don't keep it away forever. But I wish I could get rid of pain for all people, Like, I wish there was a way to do that. That's like so grandiose to even say, but like I think about it every day. All the people that hurt, and I just wish they didn't. Myself included. Merry Christmas. I did not intend for that to be macabre, but you know what? No, let's spin that. Like, let's gray pill that, white pill that. I don't know the pills anymore. It's not 2018. But let's, this is Christmas, and however you feel about Christmas, are you absolutely Christ pilled? This is the day God took human form, died for us, shared in our suffering. Speaking of, do you go that path with it? Do you go, I don't want to hear about Christmas, or are you super Christ pilled and you go, that's Saturnalia? That's a pagan thing. I don't do that. I'm a Jehovah's Witness or a Mormon or what have you. If that's your thing, I guess today, Christmas, let's just not worry about all that. Let's you know what? I'm not even going to give you a call to action either. But on this Christmas day, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to tell you how to think. But I love you, and I know we've all gone through pain, and I hope that this is the beginning. I hope that in some way, this day going forward, we feel less and less pain until we feel no pain at all. And that's not some cryptic statement about death. I believe that one day, perfection will be achieved. And we got to keep working towards it. It's, how do you do it? We could debate, we could get into semantics all day, but pain can't last. We can't have pain. We got to do everything in our power to get rid of it. And I guess the will to repair comes from that same sentiment. The want to be comfortable. What's wrong with that? I don't know. I feel like we're always just chasing. I'm always just, almost everything I've done, it's just kind of like an effort to make the pain go away. And that sounds really depressing. I say that with a smile on my face. I say that with optimism and happiness in my heart. I find that The abolition of pain is what we're all really after. If you could find like a meaning of life, that's what it would be to me. Without pain, then, what else do we have to fight? I feel like everything else, every other evil thing is just a response, an attempt to ease pain. Esoteric repair. Yeah, that's a hidden skill in Fallout New Vegas. I bet you never put points into, called esoteric repairing. Yeah, you can only build it through skill books and meditation. I'm gonna go. This has been a wild one, but hopefully it didn't make you unsubscribe. And speaking of which, I feel like like usually YouTubers are always like, "Oh, like and subscribe." I just want to do a test. I want to see if I say that, if YouTube promotes it to more people. So, Merry Christmas, everybody. We still got more videos coming out to go. I'm not going to stop. I love chatting with you. I love reading your comments. Please like, please subscribe. And I will see you guys tomorrow. It's not even New Year. A lot of people post up on Christmas. They go see you February or something. No, I'll be right here tomorrow. All right. I love you guys. I'll see you soon. Merry Christmas. Spend some time with your family. If you're family deficient like myself, I get you. I feel it. And I'm here for you. I'm here for you, and you're not alone. I'm serious. I know what loneliness can do, and I know it looks like everybody else is rejoicing but you, and I just want you to know I've been there. And you can kind of get back in. You can always find more people to celebrate with. All right, I'm getting sappy, but I mean everything I say. I love you guys. Merry Christmas.